The sterile lights of Nexus Medical Station's pediatric unit reflected off the polished chrome surfaces as Maya Chen completed her rounds. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical bun, her green eyes focused on the medical chart in her hand. At 32, she'd worked on the station for 5 years. One of only 12 humans among the diverse medical staff serving the diplomatic outpost. Nurse Chen, final vitals. Check in isolation room 7. Dr. Verex's gravelly voice came through her cum unit. The Indarian physician's tone held its usual impatience. On my way, Dr. Maya responded, tucking the tablet into her uniform pocket. Isolation room 7 had been occupied yesterday by a young Zerelian hatchling, brought in with respiratory distress. Zerelians were notoriously private about their young. The station's diplomatic protocols strictly prohibited unnecessary contact with juvenile aliens, especially those from newly allied species. Maya approached the isolation chamber, its transparent walls revealing the small purple-skinned being inside. The hatchling's for slender limbs trembled as it huddled in the corner of the medical bed. Its large luminous eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of distress Maya had noted in her xenobiology training. Vitals stable, but elevated, she murmured, reviewing the biomonitors. The hatchling was recovering physically, but clearly terrified. Through the glass, she heard a soft, keening sound that made her heart clench. The station protocol manual was explicit. Maintain minimal contact with alien young. Cultural contamination risks diplomatic incidents. Hatchlings. Keening grew louder, its slender fingers grasping at nothing. Maya glanced down the corridor. Empty. Dr. Verex had left for his quarters, and the night shift was minimal. Making a swift decision, she pressed her palm against the biometric scanner and entered the isolation room. "Hey there, little one," she whispered, approaching slowly. "It's okay. You're safe." The hatchling's iridescent eyes widened, its purple skin flushing a deeper violet in what Maya recognized as fear. "I know you're scared," Maya continued, keeping her movements slow as she reached the bedside. "Being alone in a strange place is frightening." The security cameras would be recording everything, but Maya couldn't turn away. Against every regulation, she sat on the edge of the bed and began to hum a gentle lullaby her grandmother had sung to her as a child. The hatchling's trembling subsided slightly. Encouraged, Maya carefully extended her hand, palm up, offering comfort without forcing contact. Minutes passed as the lullaby filled the room. Then, hesitantly, the small, purple fingers reached out to touch her hand. The skin was cool and silky, unlike human skin, but the gesture was universally understood. "There you go," Maya whispered, as the hatchling's breathing slowed, its posture relaxing. "Everything's going to be all right." The door hissed open behind her. Nurse Chen, Security Chief Lavaro, stood rigid in the doorway, his expression thunderous. "What do you think you're doing? Exit the isolation chamber immediately." Maya rose slowly, careful not to startle the hatchling. "The patient was in emotional distress, sir. I was providing comfort care. The patient is the offspring of Ambassador Talon of the Zerelian Conclave. You've violated 17 different protocols." Lavaro's voice rose. "Report to Director Elson's office at 0700 hours. Your access to diplomatic patients is revoked, effective immediately." As Maya moved toward the door, a small sound made her turn back. The hatchling had stretched out a hand toward her, its eyes now shimmering with what looked like tears. "I'm sorry, little one," she whispered. "I have to go now." Maya exited the chamber, her career possibly in ruins. But unable to regret offering comfort to a frightened child no matter what species it happened to be, Maya stood outside Director Elson's office at precisely. Her uniform crisped despite a sleepless night. The station's administrative wing buzzed with the usual morning activity, but several passing staff members averted their eyes. News traveled fast on Nexus Station. "Enter," came Director Elson's voice through the intercom. Maya stepped inside to find not only the stern-faced station director, but also Issa's security chief Lavaro and Issa's Lavaro. And, most surprisingly, an elegant Zerelian male. His tall, slender frame was draped in flowing silver robes that contrasted with his deep purple skin. Intricate markings adorned his high forehead, indicating his status among his people. Nurse Chen, Director Elson began, her voice tight with tension. "This is Ambassador Talon of the Zarelian Conclave." Maya lowered her eyes respectfully. "Ambassador, I apologize for any cultural offense you comforted my child." The ambassador interrupted, his melodic voice carrying an unexpected warmth. When Zella was frightened and alone, Maya looked up, surprised by his tone. The ambassador's luminous eyes, the same shade as the hatchling's, studied her with intensity. "In our culture," Talon continued, "we believe children should never be left in distress. Yet our diplomatic protocols prevented me from staying with her during treatment." He moved closer. Towering over Maya, Security Chief Lavaro informed me you broke regulations to provide comfort. Director Elson cleared her throat. Ambassador Talon requested this meeting after reviewing the security footage. "Nurse Chen, your actions have placed the station in a delicate position. I wish to thank the human nurse," Talon announced, surprising everyone in the room. "Thank me," Maya echoed. "Among my people, the comfort of our young transcends all other protocols." Talon's slender fingers formed a traditional gesture of respect. "You saw a child in need and responded with compassion, despite knowing the professional risk. This demonstrates the best qualities we hope to find in humanity." Director Elson's expression shifted from stern to confused. "While we appreciate your understanding, Ambassador, station regulations were clearly violated." "Indeed," Talon agreed. "And I am formally requesting that Nurse Chen be assigned as my daughter's primary caregiver during our extended stay on Nexus Station." The room fell silent. Maya's heart raced as she processed the implications. "That would be highly irregular," Chief Lavaro objected. "So is our alliance," Talon replied smoothly. "The Zarelian Conclave has never before aligned with non-silicate species. We are making exceptions because we see potential in humanity." His gaze returned to Maya, potential exemplified by Nurse Chen's actions. Director Elson's political instincts visibly overrode her administrative concerns. "We would be honored to accommodate your request, Ambassador. Nurse Chen will be reassigned immediately." As they exited the office, Talon fell into step beside Maya. "My daughter asked for you," he said quietly. "She said the human with gentle hands made the fear go away." Maya smiled, relief washing over her. "I'm glad I could help." "There is much our peoples can learn from each other," Talon observed, his voice thoughtful. "Perhaps starting with a lesson in compassion that transcends species." "I'd like that, Ambassador," Maya replied. Feeling the weight of possibility in his words, neither noticed the glowering figure watching from the shadows, Dr. Varix, his expression darkening as he observed the human nurse walking side by side with the prestigious Zarelian ambassador. 3 weeks into her new assignment, Maya found herself sitting cross-legged on plush cushions in the Zarelian diplomatic quarters, watching young Zella arrange crystalline puzzle pieces. The hatchling had recovered fully and now chattered happily in a mixture of her native language and the English Maya had been teaching her. "Blue piece goes here?" Zella asked, holding up a shimmering crystal shard. "That's right," Maya encouraged. "Your English is getting better every day." "Maya teach good," Zella replied, her purple skin glowing with contentment. The door slid open and Ambassador Talon entered, removing his formal outer robe. Over the weeks, Maya had noted how he relaxed in private, the rigid diplomatic posture giving way to a more natural grace. "Father." Zella abandoned her puzzle to rush to him, a behavior Maya had learned was unusual for Zarelian children, who typically maintained formal distance from their elders. "My little star," Talon lifted his daughter effortlessly. "Has Nurse Chen been teaching you more human words?" Maya, Zella corrected firmly. "Not Nurse Chen. Maya is friend." Talon's eyes met Maya's over his daughter's head, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. "Indeed she is." After settling Zella with her puzzle again, Talon gestured for Maya to join him on the balcony overlooking the station's central atrium. The vast space below teemed with beings from dozens of worlds, the diplomatic heart of this sector. "The council meeting was difficult today," he confided, his voice lower than usual. "Some factions question the wisdom of our alliance with Earth." "Is there anything I can do to help?" Maya asked. Talon turned to face her, the station's artificial sunlight catching the subtle iridescence of his skin. You already are. My daughter's attachment to you has become a powerful argument in favor of continued relations. I'm just doing my job, Maya demurred. No. Tylen's fingers lightly touched her hand, sending an unexpected tingle up her arm. You're doing far more. You're showing us that humans can connect with us on a deeper level than mere politics. Maya felt her cheeks warm at the intensity in his gaze. Over the weeks, their conversations had grown increasingly personal. She'd learned about his late partner, how he'd been raising Zella alone since her emergence. He'd listened with genuine interest to stories of her life on Earth. Her reasons for joining the Nexus medical program. I've been authorized to invite a human representative to our homeworld, Talon said suddenly. Would you consider being that representative, Maya? The invitation took her breath away. No human had ever visited the Zarelian homeworld. Me. But I'm not a diplomat. You understand us better than any diplomat could. Talon interrupted, his fingers still resting lightly on hers. You see us as people, not just as potential allies. Their eyes held for a moment too long to be merely friendly. Maya became acutely aware of his proximity. The subtle scent like cinnamon and starlight that seemed to emanate from his skin. I would be honored, she finally replied, her voice barely above a whisper. Neither noticed Dr. Varix, watching from across the atrium, his expression darkening as he activated his communication device. Connect me to Counselor Drent, he muttered. Tell him I have concerning information about Ambassador Tylen's inappropriate relationship with a human staff member. On the balcony. Oblivious to the growing threat, Maya and Talon continued their conversation, the space between them diminishing with each passing moment as two worlds drew closer together through the unlikely connection of a nurse who had simply offered comfort to a crying child. The news spread through Nexus Station like wildfire. A human nurse invited to the secretive Zarelian homeworld. Maya found herself the subject of curious stares and whispered conversations as she moved through the corridors. Some colleagues offered congratulations, others maintained a pointed silence. Nurse Chen, Dr. Vurex, intercepted her outside the medical bay. A word. Maya paused, noting the Andarian physician's rigid posture. Yes, doctor. This assignment with the Zarelian ambassador has gone far beyond professional boundaries, he said, voice low but sharp. The station is talking. I'm providing care for his daughter as requested, Maya replied evenly. Burke's eyes narrowed. Is that all you're providing? The Council has concerns about human-alien fraternization, especially with newly allied species. A chill ran down Maya's spine. My relationship with Ambassador Talon is entirely appropriate. Is it? Varric stepped closer. Because Counselor Drent has requested a formal review of your interactions? Security footage suggests otherwise. Before Maya could respond, her comm unit chimed. Excuse me, doctor, she said, grateful for the interruption, in the diplomatic wing. Maya found Talon in a heated discussion with a stern-looking Zarelian official. They broke off abruptly when she entered. Maya Talon greeted her, tension evident in his voice. This is Envoy Sorel from the Conclave. The female Zarelians. Gaze was coldly analytical as she studied Maya. So this is the human who has captured so much attention. Nurse Chen has provided exceptional care for my daughter, Talon stated formally, and apparently for you as well. Sorel replied with unmistakable disapproval. The Conclave questions the wisdom of inviting a human to our world, particularly one with whom you've developed personal entanglements. Maya felt her face flush. Envoy Sorel, I assure you, the invitation stands. Talon interrupted firmly. By my authority as ambassador? After Sorel departed, Talon's composed facade crumbled slightly. I apologize. There are conservative elements in the Conclave who resist our alliance with Earth. Dr. Varix mentioned a council review of our interactions, Maya admitted. Perhaps we should be more careful. Talon's expression hardened. I won't allow xenophobic prejudice to dictate my choices. Later that evening, after Zella had fallen asleep, Maya and Talon sat in the dimly lit common area of his quarters. The space was illuminated only by the soft glow of Zarelian crystal lamps, casting everything in gentle purple light. Tell me more about your world, Maya requested, trying to maintain professionalism despite the intimate setting. Zorelia orbits a binary star, Talon began, his voice taking on a melodic quality. The perpetual twilight bathes everything in purple and silver. He moved to sit beside her, close enough that she could feel the coolness radiating from his skin. Our cities are built of living crystal that grows and changes with us. It sounds beautiful, Maya whispered. I wish to show it to you, he replied, his hand finding hers in the dim light. Despite the conclave's concerns, the touch of his fingers intertwining with hers sent a shiver through Maya's body. Talon, we should consider what they're saying. If this jeopardizes the Alliance, perhaps the Alliance needs this. He interrupted, his free hand gently tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. Proof that our species can truly connect. The moment hung between them, charged with possibility. Then, hesitantly, Talon leaned forward until his face was inches from hers. Is this acceptable in human culture? He whispered. Maya's answer was to close the distance between them, pressing her warm lips against his cooler ones. The sensation was electric, alien yet deeply right. His arms encircled her, drawing her closer as the kiss deepened, transcending their biological differences through shared emotion. When they finally separated, both slightly breathless, Maya rested her forehead against his. That might complicate things, she murmured. Some things are worth complicating, he replied. Cradling her face in his hands, neither noticed the small surveillance device hidden in the crystal lamp, transmitting everything directly to Counselor Drent's private terminal. The summons came at 0500 hours, Director Elson requesting. Maya's immediate presence in the main conference room, her stomach knotted with anxiety as she dressed quickly. Wondering if the footage of her kiss with Talon had already reached the administration. The corridor outside the Zorelian quarters was unusually busy, security personnel moving with purposeful haste. Something significant was happening. Nurse Chen, Chief Lavaro, intercepted her. This way, please. Quickly, what's happening? Maya asked as he led her through corridors she'd never accessed before. Zorelian vessels entered our space 2 hours ago, Lavaro replied tersely. 7 warships. The entire High Conclave has arrived. Maya's heart raced. Why? That's what everyone wants to know, Lavaro said grimly, ushering her into a vast conference chamber. The room was filled with station officials and diplomats from a dozen worlds. At the center table sat Director Elson, flanked by human military officers. Across from them, Salon stood with several elaborately dressed Zorelians, clearly high-ranking officials from their homeworld. All eyes turned to Maya as she entered. Nurse Chen, Director Elson's voice carried across the suddenly quiet room. Ambassador Talon insists you join these proceedings. Talon stepped forward, extending his hand in the human gesture he had learned from her. His eyes conveyed a complex message of reassurance tinged with uncertainty. The High Conclave wishes to meet the human who changed the course of our diplomatic relations, explained, guiding her to the table. An elderly Zorelian, with intricate silver markings covering his purple skin, rose from his seat. I am High Chancellor Vorax, he announced, his voice surprisingly strong. For millennia, the Zorelian Conclave has maintained minimal contact with other species. Our alliance with Earth was controversial, agreed upon only for strategic necessity. Maya felt the weight of history in his words, the tension in the room palpable. Yesterday, I received troubling reports, Vorax continued. Claims of inappropriate relations between our ambassador and a human caregiver. Evidence was presented suggesting contamination of our cultural values. This was the diplomatic incident she'd feared. I came to witness this contamination myself, Vorax stated, his gaze fixing on Maya with unsettling intensity. To see the human who dared comfort a Zorelian child against protocol, who formed a bond with our ambassador that transcends political alliance. The room held its collective breath, waiting for the condemnation. What I found, Vorax's voice softened unexpectedly, was the very reason why this alliance must not merely continue, but deepen. Murmurs of surprise rippled through the assembly. The surveillance footage meant to condemn. You instead revealed something our species has lost in our isolation, the courage to connect across differences. Vorax explained. Your compassion for a child, not of your species, your willingness to risk your position to offer comfort, these are values the Conclave once held sacred before fear led us to isolation. Director Elson leaned forward. Chancellor Vorax, are you saying the Xyrilian Conclave proposes a formal expansion of our alliance? Vorax announced. Not merely strategic, but cultural, beginning with an exchange program between our worlds. The chamber erupted in exclamations and hurried conversations. Maya felt Tylan's hand find hers beneath the table, a gesture now laden with new significance. My granddaughter Zella speaks highly of you, Vorax said directly to Maya. It's a surprising revelation of his relationship to the child. She says you made the stars feel less far away from home. I just did what any nurse would do, Maya replied, humbled by the moment. No, Vorax corrected gently. You did what any compassionate soul would do, regardless of species. And in doing so, you reminded us what alliance truly means. As the formal proceedings concluded and the details of the expanded alliance were being drafted, Maya and Talon found a moment alone on the observation deck. The Xyrilian warships hung in space beyond the viewports, their crystalline structures catching the light of distant stars. Did you know this would happen? Maya asked, still processing the day's events. I hoped, Talon admitted, drawing her closer. But I didn't know. The Conclave has been divided for generations about opening to other species. Your actions with Zella became the catalyst for change. All I did was comfort a frightened child, Maya marveled. Sometimes the smallest actions create the greatest shifts, Talon replied, his arms encircling her. A single act of compassion rippling outward, changing the course of two civilizations. As they gazed out at the stars, the future unfurling before them held possibilities. Nida could have imagined all, because a human nurse had risked her job to comfort a crying hatchling. Never expecting how the universe would respond,